Hello everyone, happy Easter. What are the rights of English teachers working in the kingdom under the Thai labor law? Are foreigners entitled to severance pay after termination of contract? These and many more will be the discussion of today's video. Keep watching to find out. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is NDANGOH'S Diary. What you have to understand is that the Thai labor law is quite different as compared to labor laws in other countries. It's important for you to understand what rights you've got as far as employment is concerned in the kingdom. So what are your rights as a foreign expert in Thailand? 1. You are entitled to 6 days leave in an official employment contract. If you sign an employment contract with an employer, you are entitled to a 6-day leave, supposing the term of that contract is 1 year and above. It's up to the employer to decide when exactly he feels to give you a leave, and it's at the discretion of the employer to decide how long he wants to grant you leave or how long he wants you to stay away. And again, it's the right of the employer to decide what time he should approve your leave request. So you have no power, no control over this if your contract is less than a year. But if you have 1 year contract or you've been working in the school for more than 1 year, you are entitled to leave for 6 days. The next point is that as a foreigner working in the kingdom, you have the right to receive your salary at your place of work. I've seen situations where foreigners will call in their employer maybe during weekend and demand for payment. No, by the law, the employer doesn't have the right to pay you out of your workplace unless you sign in your contract and state otherwise that the employer is free to pay you out of the workplace. Otherwise, you receive your salary at your place of work. Even though most schools nowadays do pay teachers through wire transfer because they wouldn't want to carry a huge sum of money on them coming to school because they need to pay teachers by cash, but by law, payment should be done at your place of work. The third point is that your employer has the right to terminate your contract at any point in time if you go against the school rules and regulation. Not just that, if you equally carry out your duty in an dishonest way, the employer has the right to terminate your contract. Again, if you do something that causes loss to the school or damage of school properties, you can lose your contract, and the employer has a right to terminate the contract with immediate effect without any severance pay. Again, some of you make the mistake of thinking that if your contract is being terminated, you are entitled to a severance pay. No, not exactly. Unless your employer decided to let you go without you committing any offense, then the employer has to pay your severance pay. Otherwise, you are entitled to nothing because the effect is all yours. And next, this one is not actually written in the Thai labor law book, but from advice from lawyers whom I've spoken to, it's practical. It has to do with the time that you come to school to clock in and clock out. Like by the law, you are not late if you arrive at your workplace few minutes after the normal time. Few minutes here is between, let's say you're supposed to be at work by 7:45. If you arrive after 7:45, let's say 7:50, you are not late. But if after 10 minutes of arrival, then you are late based on the law. So your employer shouldn't rain down hell on you if you arrive few minutes after normal time. By law, you have the right to do so. So in most cases, it's better for you to discuss about the time of work with your employer in order to make sure that whatever time you are expected to be at work is convenient to you. And finally, your employer has the right to demand that you work 48 hours a week. Yeah, the employer has the right to make this request. Normally, most schools will allow foreigners to work 5 days a week. That's Mondays to Fridays. But the employer has the right to exercise this privilege by demanding that you work on Saturdays, that is 48 hours a week and not 40 as most of you believe. But if you're fortunate to be in a good school, they may allow you to work 5 days a week. Otherwise, if they demand that you come in on Saturdays, you have no right to complain because it's stated in the labor law that the employer has the right to do this. These 5 points I've mentioned, if you've been following very carefully, you'll notice that it goes both ways. What you enjoy as an employee under the Thai law and what privileges the employer also enjoy as a job provider based on the law. This is part 1 of 3 videos I intend to create on this topic. Check the channel regularly to catch up on the 2nd and 3rd video. And by the way, you can equally purchase the Thai or labor law book, which is 800 baht from any of the bookshops in Bangkok. Search for this online and you will see the bookshops in Bangkok that sell this. It's 800 baht. Get this, it's bilingual English and Thai translation. It will help you to learn more about labor laws in Thailand. Do not be ignorant. Otherwise, you might find yourself in a situation where your employer exploit you. It's a cruel world we live in. Sometimes you may come across good people. Sometimes you may come across people that are selfish in their actions. So be careful, stay safe, and enjoy your time in Thailand. See you next time.